Hey, Coach. Trevor Gross from CUTigers.com. Coach Sweeney told us that there are no penalties on the defense in Saturday's scrimmage, which is quite remarkable. What does that say about the experience level and the discipline of your guys? And were they just as disciplined today?
It was really good. I think we might have had one penalty on us today. So it's been a good, clean camp from a discipline standpoint, understanding, just being in a good competitive position, a lot of pre-snap understanding, and you see a bunch of young guys that have grown up and improved and improved with their confidence, improved with their understanding, improved with their technique, just playing within the system and letting the system, help them. So it's been very pleasing to see, that discipline, show up in live situations.
Hey, Brent, this is Larry Williams. What have you learned about the backups on the interior behind Brian and Tyler?
Yeah, I think, between Ruke and Trey and E.T. and Darnell, those guys in particular, DeMonte's been banged up, for a while now. And but those other guys have done really, really well, made improvement. Just got to get them to be consistent, everyday players as far as showing up and being healthy and all those little things that it takes to be a good player. And but they've really matured and have made a ton of improvement fundamentally and pad level and being physical. And they're athletic, Ruke and Trey and E.T. are very athletic guys, and they got big bodies and they got some twitch to them. So, playing within the system, playing with better pad level and fundamentals have been the biggest things that we've seen from them. They've made a lot of good plays through camp.
Hey, Brent, this is Anna Hickey. I know Skalski is such a vital piece to your defense and directing traffic, but has Kane Patterson, I guess, made a case for a bigger workload this season?
Kane's had a good camp. He sure has. Yeah, Kane's done well. We've repped Vontae, has repped over there as well. Trenton Simpson has his rep there. Sergio Allen has repped there. They've all repped and have gotten better. So you'll see a bunch of guys in there that have earned, playing time.
Hey, Coach, it's David Hood with TigerNet. You kind of know what you get with Nolan Turner and with Landon coming back from surgery, but who are some of those other safeties that have kind of flashed to you during August?
Makuba's done well. Joseph Charleston, Ray Thornton, JP's done, Jalen Phillips has done well. Tyler and RJ, RJ had shoulder surgery, and so he missed time. Makuba missed a little bit of, working out and those types of things because of his broken form. Tyler had a great summer. He had his testing numbers were as good as anybody in the secondary, and whether it's in the weight room or the running and the speed. And then the other guys have shown, a great deal of consistency. Landon's better and healthy. He's got a good feel and understanding for things. So that group has had a good, really good fall camp and made improvement in both their strength and their speed numbers, and then again, just our overall understanding and consistency every day.
Hey, Brent, obviously, Xavier Thomas has made a lot of strides over the offseason. I mean, just wondering what you've seen from him over the course of fall camp so far.
Yeah, same stuff about Xavier Thomas. He had a really good first couple of weeks, going on the third week here. It's more of the same. He showed up. He's been really, explosive and playing fast and playing physical and been playing within the scheme, and has been consistent. So he's disruptive and has some experience. So he's in a group of guys. We got multiple starters there, and but he's made the most of his snaps for sure.
Coach Justyn Ross, go ahead.
It's Lex, excuse me, Alexis from the state. You mentioned Ruke just a little bit ago. For a guy like him who doesn't have a ton of obviously football playing experience, how much do you just see that intelligence factor that he has kind of helping him along and learning things and picking up on them quicker?
I mean, yeah, the more he plays, the better he gets. And so again, since he's been here, he's also been one of those guys, a little bit snake bit, has been banged up with a variety of injuries, but since he's been healthy, you just seen him just get better and better and better. And he's maturing mentally, physically, had an awesome summer, and looks like $1 million and has been playing really quick and fast, and has played really strong. So he's still got an incredible ceiling, and expect him to again, the more he plays, to continue to get better and really help us at a position where we need some help.
Coach Justyn Ross scrimmage today. If I could ask you just to put yourself in the shoes of another defensive coordinator, it's not often you see a guy with his size line up at slot. What kind of a nightmare matchup is that for other defensive coordinators, do you think?
Yeah, he's long, he's got great ball skills, he's got tremendous linear speed, he's got toughness. Just a great player, just tremendous resiliency, toughness, a real playmaker, one that, he's always got the trump card in most matchups. So creates a lot of issues for you. And, expect a huge season, from Justyn. But just really happy for him that he's back. And I know he's a difference maker kind of guy. He's a franchise kind of player. But really happy for him and having the kind of health and the rehab and, being in a really good place mentally.
Brent, this is Matt. With camp kind of coming to a close here, were there any guys you really were pleased with and felt like made a jump from going into it to where they finished?
I mean, I'd have to say the 3 deep. I don't want to generalize, but I just saw so many guys that, complimented the defense when I brought them up. You lose track of all the guys that we saw noticeable improvement. And again, it started by having a great spring and summer, and carried over in fall camp. And so it's really just, there's countless. It's really, I just saw improvement across the board. And I think the byproduct of that was just consistency across the board, confidence, not a ton of drop off. And so that's pleasing. Even guys that just showed up, a guy like a Barrett Carter or a Trotter, for me on defense, those guys just, where a lot of times those freshmen will get buried mentally quickly. And that's not to say they never had a tough day or a tough moment, but those guys, got better, from the onset. We had some guys that were grading a year ago in the 68 to 72% that are up in that 78% threshold, almost to a winning 80% grade. So we just got to try to close that gap, and that means the right fit in the run game, the right pass drop in the pass game, pass coverage. It's the right check in a critical situation. It's putting my eyes on the right thing that's going to tell me run or pass and tell me what to do. And being able to do that under duress and doing it really fast and doing it in a physical way is, that last part of it. And so it's all, again, a ton of improvement. And as the season goes on, my experience has been, the best teams that you're on, the best players that you've been around, they get better as the season goes on too. And you'll have some ebbs and flows along the way, but from the beginning of the year to the end of the year, that's what you want to do. That's ultimately the goal, is to continue to get better. And you do that by being hungry, by having a never satisfied attitude, making a tremendous amount of sacrifice, and showing up every day with great toughness and an edge to you. And then again, in humility, we got to have great leadership, and the great players and the great teams that whether it's in football, it's basketball, it's major league, it's the NBA, they have, you got Ray Lewis, or you got Mike Jordan, or you got Kobe Bryant, you got LeBron James, you got guys like that with that alpha dog mentality that make everybody around them better. And the team, takes on either Tom Brady, everything that he's been a part of in his whole career, both, in college and in the NFL. Man, he makes everyone better. And he does that with a simple, relentless, never satisfied mindset and workmanlike. You don't hear a whole lot. He plays loud. He leads loud. And that's what you want to emulate. I try to do that as myself as a leader. I keep things simple and have a balanced, proportionate life. And but if you want to be great, man, you got to show up, with consistency, if anything. And that's not easy to do. If it were, there'd be a lot of incredibly successful people and teams. And what happens is people get distracted. People lose their hunger. They lose their humility. They lose you got to have broad shoulders to be a leader. It can wear you out because you got to, you have to be the bad guy. You have to point out things that aren't pleasing and pleasant, and you can't be afraid of that. And that's a very lonely place sometimes. And but we as a team, man, we got to, again, we'll see what our maturity is like. It's been a good camp. That doesn't mean that we're gonna have this great year. It gives you a chance to have a good year. It gives you a chance to have a great year. But there's still a tremendous amount of work to be done. And you literally got to earn it every single day. You can't have a great game against Georgia if you don't have a great, Sunday when we come back in. Or if you're jacking around and not being focused and serious and committed and make sacrifice here through the rest of the weekend. You got to have a good day in the classroom to have a good practice. You got to have a good night's sleep and have a good day in the weight room. And it's a very process-driven thing, being a part of a team or being a part of a business, and again, having a lot of like-minded people that buy into big team, little me, and make tremendous sacrifice and tremendous commitment. And again, have, the fortitude to stick to it, man, because it's hard. It's a long season. But we had a long camp, 16 straight days of being together. And it was productive. And again, we got better as a staff and as a football team. Saw real positive growth across the board. And just looking forward to getting the guys back in here on Sunday and getting to work.
We'll take one or two more for Coach.
Coach, I know you're focused on Clemson right now, but being that you coached at Oklahoma and played at Kansas State, I'm just curious what your reaction was to the bomb that was dropped on the Big 12.
I don't know. My opinion doesn't really matter. Not to answer your question, I'm a loyalist and a traditionalist at heart, and I was a player in the Big 8 and a coach in the Big 8 and a coach in the first game in the history of the Big 12 Conference, Kansas State versus Texas Tech, Byron Hanspard and Zebby Lethridge, and Bill Schneider Family Stadium. So yeah, there's some, very connected to that. It's sad. But there'll be some good that comes out of it. Don't know what exactly that is right now. But the game and the landscape that we're in, as we all know, is changing, and as we move forward. So sad in many ways, but got great memories of the Big 12 Conference.
We'll take one more question.
Brent, this is Larry again. Have the corners as a group showed you what you wanted to see coming into camp so far?
Been super pleased with the corners. I just personally felt it was just because that position, a lot of times those guys can get dinged up during the course of a year. They're kind of like those race cars, man. Everything's got to be just right. They're not running the right way. They've been had a tremendous camp, and they've been ultra consistent, great coverage, zone, man, run support, consistent, showing up every day, great fundamentals, and just excited to see that transition to the field. And that's been really, as a position group, and there's been other improvement in all the groups from top to bottom, but that might have been the most improvement from the spring to where we're at right now as far as position groups.